Why make a video on nuance? This is a topic that, like a lot of other topics, I've been thinking a lot about, and I've actually been applying this when I look at comments, when I look at how people respond to things, and I see that there's not a lot of it. There's not a lot of nuance when it comes to the general public reacting to things. And I actually think that this is quite wrong. Hey guys, I'm Shoman, and I want to challenge the way you think, and today is a more somber episode. This is, I think, a huge flaw in the way that the general public actually handles itself. Now, you're not part of it, you're special, I know you're not, this does not include you, but this does include a lot of people that you might know. Now, it's actually really hard for people that don't have nuance to see why they might need it, and there is actually a lot of mechanisms in place for you to actually prevent you from seeing this. A lot of it has to do with the fact that we hate to be wrong. Like, we biologically don't like to be wrong. And so when you're presented with other facts, you just shut down and you don't accept those facts, and you lash out, usually in anger. And the other part is precisely because of that anger, because of that low vibration energy. And no, I'm not planning on really making any friends with this video. Unfortunately, I like the hard truths. I like to get down into what ultimately is at the core of things. This is called first principles thinking, and nuance allows me to do that. Whenever I look at a problem, I look at it through this lens of what is the ultimate underlying truth? What is the nuance of this particular situation? And I ask you, do you do the same? And if not, why not? Maybe you should consider it the next time you're about to get mad at someone. Because getting mad at people very rarely works. And in fact, a lot of times, it does the exact opposite thing. It just puts up the other person's shield because they're also not seeing a lot of nuance. So then how do you actually see nuance? That is actually a very hard thing to do. You first have to accept the fact that you might be wrong, that there might be additional bits of information that you haven't actually considered. Because a lot of times, there's way more information. You actually usually know a very tiny bit of the information that you actually know. There's so much out there that we have no idea about. And so you have to consider whether or not you have all of the information. And this is, again, hard because your brain really hates that. Your brain wants to think it has complete information and that it is the arbiter of truth, that all it knows is true, when in fact, most of it is frankly wrong. Most of what I know is wrong. This entire message could be wrong. I don't know. You tell me down on the comment section down below. Am I right? Am I wrong? And if so, why? What's the nuance of this message? Why am I actually saying this message? If your initial response is anger that, grr, I have nuance. Well, do you have nuance? If your initial response is anger, meaning you're threatened, does that make you have a lot of nuance? And if you didn't have anger and you're like, I have nuance, well then you might do. I'm not saying that you don't. But all I'm saying is it's always good to consider whether or not you do. I do this on a daily basis. I ask myself that again and again and again until it became a habit. My habit of always trying to see every single angle in a problem. And even I fall short more times than I can count. Even I fall short of actually looking at a thing objectively. And so I challenge you, if any of this is making sense and you've made it this far, try and the next time you have a problem, look at it from a different angle. Try to think about all of the ways that you can have just a little more nuance in your thinking, because it all does come down to that. It all does come down to what is the fundamental truth? Why is that person saying the thing that they are saying? Because there's always a reason, even if you don't agree with it, even if it's not a good one. There's always a reason. And I want to leave you with, there's also always subtext to everything that people are saying. Every single word someone says, there is a reason behind that choice of words. And sometimes they might not use the correct choice of words. And so what is the spirit that they are trying to get across? Because sometimes words are hard. And so you can find nuance there. This was probably a very confusing video for you, and I understand that. Honestly, it is a little bit for me. Again, I sometimes don't know the right words, but let me know down below if you got the message. If you made it this far, please let me know if any of this is making sense, and if it's not, I'll remake it because I think this is one of the biggest messages that I can spread. And that message is that people need a little more nuance. People need to look at multiple angles at once. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.